New details tonight from Valley on where a police dog will call home.
Their city council voted to allow K-9 Sonic to retire with his original owner. According to a member of the city council, about 1,200 emails were sent from people concerned about the dog. Sonic and his handler, James Deemer, were together for nearly 3 years until Deemer's retirement last spring. Now, he wanted to keep Sonic and even offered to cover the associated costs, but the city denied his request. Sonic was then kept at a kennel where he was allegedly neglected. The owner of the kennel denies that, saying Sonic was in distress. In a release tonight, PETA thanks the community members who called for Sonic to be reunited with his family.